wanting Valentine's that isn't maybe going out, that wants to stay in and cook, I've got you covered with these menu ideas for Valentine's. This is menu free and I've got a starter, main and a dessert which you're going to absolutely love. So hit the like button for me, and don't forget, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe down below. It's free to do so. Today's menu kicks off with my bruschetta canapes, and moving on to the main course, we have got chicken Kiev, which is such a classic. You can prepare it ahead of time and then cook that in your air fryer. All you've then got to do is add a little bit of veg on the side. And then for dessert, we've got a delicious treacle pudding, which is nice and easy because it's cooked under pressure, doesn't take too long, and it's a really indulgent pudding, especially with a little bit of extra cream or custard on the side. So I really hope you enjoy these recipes. Here are the videos showing you how to make them. To make my bruschetta, I'm going to start off by baking some tomatoes. So I've got some cherry tomatoes here. You can do as many as you want, depends on how many people you want to serve with this. I'm going to spray some olive oil on these tomatoes, and I want to season them as well. So black pepper, like lots of black pepper, it's going to make them taste really lovely. And a little bit of salt as well on those tomatoes. And then if you want to add fresh garlic, you can, or you can use some garlic granules. Just going to give those a little stir. Just make sure they're nicely coated in the oil and the seasoning. These are going to be bursting with flavour. These are going to be gorgeous. I'm going to get those onto bake now. I'm now going to blend up the feta, garlic, basil and smoked paprika. That's also got some extra virgin olive oil in there as well. When your tomatoes are done, they're going to look like this. They're still holding together, but they are bursting open, and they've got a nice bit of colour on the outside. I've removed the tomatoes, and now I'm going to lower it over the rack. Doesn't matter that the pot is dirty underneath. And I've got some small little pieces of baguette here. And I'm going to give those a little spray with some olive oil. There you go. And I'm now going to grill those, and they'll be the bottom of my bruschetta. So now we have nice toasted pieces of baguette. Obviously you can do these to get them as coloured as you want them. I want them crispy, but I don't want them too hard. So I think these are just about right for me. You can see you've got nice little golden edges. Now what I want to do is spread these with some of my feta mixture. And this is what it's going to look like. It isn't smooth, it is still lumpy, but I kind of like the texture of this. So I spread some of this over my little mini canapé. That's got the little flecks of basil running through it. It's got gorgeous flavours. So that's the first stage. Now we need to finish the rest of those. Now I'm going to get my roasted tomatoes, and I'm going to put those on top, just like that. I've also added a little bit of basil, and then I wanted to put a little bit of feta across the top. So I've just cut this into really small little cubes, given them a drizzle of balsamic vinegar. I'm using this one from Tesco's here. Look at those. I'm going to put them onto a serving plate now, and they aren't going to last long. They are so delicious. First thing I do when I'm making chicken Kievs is get some room temperature butter and mush that down. Obviously the quantity is just going to depend on how many Kievs you're making, but once you've done this, you can store it in the freezer and it will keep, well, for months and months. So that's obviously a good option, and you've always got it. You can always add it to vegetables, or you know, another Kiev or some potatoes. So lots of options with it. To that, I add some parsley. So I've just got some dried parsley here. And then I need some garlic. I've got some fresh garlic, and I'm just crushing that. Oh, look at that. Squeezing out all that goodness. Now that was one clove, but it was one very large clove for the amount of butter that I've got here. And I'm not sure if I really would like another clove, or whether this is enough. At the end of the day, we want it to actually taste like garlic in chicken Kiev. It's no good if it's a bit mild and you can hardly tell that it's meant to be a garlic butter. And now all I do is get some cling film and get my butter onto the cling film. Okay, so I'm just going to flatten that down. Something like that will do the job. Let's just fold that over and over again. Tidy up the ends, and I'm going to now put that in the freezer. You want to give that a minimum of a couple of hours, and we want that nice and solid. So I'm just setting up now to create the chicken Kievs. It's really simple. I've got a bowl here, and that's got flour in that. And I've put some salt and pepper in there. You can add some paprika, whatever you like. Just add a little bit of seasoning to the flour, and that's going to go straight onto the chicken. I've got 1 egg, so let's crack that into the bowl, and then we'll just give that a little whisk up, and that's like our glue, and that's going to allow the breadcrumbs to stick. Breadcrumbs that I have chosen are some panko breadcrumbs. These are the Blue Dragon ones, just that's what they had in the shop. Any panko ones are great. If you can't get hold of panko, then of course you can use other alternative breadcrumbs. The panko breadcrumbs though, look, they are super crispy. Look at those. And they're quite chunky rather than being fine. And they're really good. So put those into a bowl. I'm just going to do a little bit because we can always add more, but we can't take away, if you know what I'm saying. So always best to do that. Now I've got my chicken breasts. Here we are. Now there's different ways that you can do your chicken Kievs. Some people butterfly them, open them right out and then put it in. But I actually find the best way is to go with your thick end and get your knife. Probably need a thinner knife actually. Let me just change my knife. That one's better. So we just get our thin knife and we just insert it in, and we're just creating a pocket inside the chicken. Just got the garlic butter out of the freezer, and what I want to do is cut off, if I can do it. Yes, it's not too bad. A long strip of garlic butter. And we're going to try and insert this into the chicken. Might be a little bit on the big side. Might just have to trim a little bit of that off. There you go. That is going in. The other thing that you can do is grab a little bit of the chicken off of the end and just use that as like a little stopper and just stuff the end. So the bit we've cut open has now sort of been sealed. So that is how we want to do it. And now I'm going to go on to the second one. Both chicken breasts have the nice garlic butter inside. So now we're just going to flour the outside. And by flouring it, it's going to help the egg to stick. And as I said, the egg is like our glue. So just make sure you get every little piece, open up, especially that end, and especially the bits where it might be slightly open. Now we can get these in the egg. I just like to drip and drain any excess, and then we can go into those breadcrumbs like this. Look at that. That has got a gorgeous crispy coating. There are both chicken Kievs ready to go, and we are going to put them in the air fryer. Right, so let's lower the chicken Kievs into the air fryer basket. Some of the breadcrumbs will come loose, but hopefully not too much. And let's hope that as much as that garlic butter as possible stays in there. We can only pray and hope. I think we've done all we can, really. Now I'm going to put some spray oil onto these because this is going to help them crispen up. I'm going to air fry these on 200 for 20 minutes. We're halfway with the chicken Kievs, and I've just flipped them over, given them a little bit more spray oil on the other side, and we'll finish those off for the last 10 minutes. Chicken Kiev is ready. Oh, they're so nice and crispy. You should see these. Are you ready? Oh, look at that. How good does that chicken Kiev look? So let's cut it open. Oh, nice and juicy. And we definitely have got that centre in there. Or if I give it a press, can you see that oozing out? Look at that. Really, really nice. Chicken is cooked perfectly. It looks absolutely delicious. I've had a quick check with my thermometer just to make sure the chicken has reached the right temperature, which it has. So pleased with those. Okay, so let's make this Ninja Treacle Pudding. I've started off by greasing my bowl that I'm going to pressure cook this in. In the bottom of here, we want our golden syrup. It's quite a lot that's going into here. We want 6 tablespoons. I'm using a soft brown sugar here, and we need 175 grams, so equal amounts of butter and sugar. Let's put that under here, and we can start mixing that together. I've got 3 eggs that I've cracked into here. I always do that because if you do get a bad egg, if you put it straight in, you've ruined everything, haven't you? You've got to start again. So just going to put in 1 egg at a time. That will then start combining together. Into here, we need self-raising flour and 175 grams. You're also going to want to use a teaspoon of baking powder. And now for the indulgent bit, treacle. Look at that. So glossy, so good. We need a tablespoon. Just a slow mix. And that'll all start to come together very quickly. That looks great, look at that. Beautiful colour, smells really, really delicious. I'm going to be serving this with some custard later, which I think will go really well. We've got cream if not. I mean, have whatever you like with it, or just have it on its own. Let's get that batter in the bowl on top of the lovely golden syrup that we've got in there. We've got a layer of parchment paper, grease paper, whatever you want to call it, and then some kitchen foil. This is going to cover the bowl, but we want to pleat it in the middle, and that's just so that it can expand. So just like that, if you can see that properly. Like that, so we've got a little plate, so when it starts to steam, this can lift up and it's not going to be too tight. Pop that over your bowl. Now just cut off the excess string, and then also just go around the edge and cut off any extras that are hanging down with the foil and the parchment. You want just your Ninja pot in here, and then add 500 millilitres of water. And then in with your rack, so that's just the bottom section of the rack. And then we can place the pudding on top, and that fits perfectly in there. Slide over to the pressure cook option on the left hand side, and we want to keep this on high, and we want the natural release, and I'm going to pop this on for 40 minutes. Make sure that your valve up the top here is sealed, and press start. Okay, I've just heard the beep. That means that the pressure has been released and we can go and have a look at this treacle pudding. So we can now open this up, slide that over. Let's have a look inside. Let that steam out. I'm going to leave that just for 5 minutes or so, just to let that steam come out and some of that heat to be removed, and then we'll have a look at what the pudding is like inside. Okay, so now I'm going to cut off the string. Oh, I can see inside there, it looks really light and airy. Oh, look at that, absolutely gorgeous. So light and fluffy, and it smells amazing. Let me just lift that up for you so you can have a better look at that. Oh, smells like absolute heaven. I hope you've enjoyed today's menu for Valentine's. If you have, remember to hit the like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. This treacle pudding is absolutely gorgeous, so delicious. I hope you give it a go.